Hi, Stitchy friends. Welcome to Cross My Stitches. My name is Jackie, and today is the 26th of June, 2025. It has been such a long time since I videoed. It's been over 4 months, and I've had my ups and downs in those 4 months, and I really just couldn't get my act together enough to do this. I tried multiple times and I just couldn't wrap my head around getting everything together and shooting a video. So I apologize for being gone for so long, but I'm here today and a lot has happened in the last 4 months. Um, while I was away for the 4 months, the last time I saw you guys, I was dealing with a probate. My mother passed away last year, and I was going through probate with her estate, and that is finally done and over and finalized. And that took a huge weight off my shoulders. It was quite difficult to deal with it because she lived in Florida and my brothers live in Florida, and just trying to take care of things long distance and trying to get my brothers to do the things they needed to do so we could sell the house. And it was a lot of back and forth on the phone multiple times a day. They drove me insane. I just wanted to get it over with. And we finally were able to take and get the house sold and get the estate settled totally, and everything is done. So I'm so glad to have that done. While that was all going on, I lost my stitchy bug between February and March, and I really wasn't doing any stitching. Um, it was, like I said, a difficult time, and I just didn't want to do anything. I was just, I couldn't do anything without being interrupted multiple times a day by an attorney or my brothers or the real estate agent or something, and it was just too much. And then in May, I'm sure you all heard that we were hit by tornado. I live in Kentucky, if you don't know. I live right outside of Somerset, which was one of the small towns that was hit by the tornado, and also London. So it traveled from just west of us through our town of Somerset and then all the way through to London. Now, I have family that lives in Somerset and in London, and that was quite the scare that happened. I live a few miles out of town. I'm probably about 7 miles out of town, so we were not in danger. But my mother-in-law, who's in the nursing home, she was just right there, so thankfully that was not hit. But it did leave a nice path right through the middle of our town and took down a lot of businesses and stuff, some housing. And most of the devastation there was in London, which when we finally drove, because we had to travel down that way after it happened, because we were heading to Georgia, seeing the devastation right off of I-75, because it came across 75, just gave me flashbacks of when in the I want to say it was the 80s, 1980s, when the hurricanes hit Country Walk, which was in Homestead, Florida, and totally wiped out the entire community. And that's what it looked like when we drove by it, because you can't stop. They had the highway blocked, so you cannot pull over to look. And it was slow driving because everybody wanted to see the devastation. And the whole neighborhood was gone. It was horrible, horrible. So many people lost their properties. There was life lost. I think here in Somerset, we only had one fatality. I want to say it was 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 people lost their lives in London, Kentucky. So that was pretty scary. And trying to deal with that was hard. We also, when we went driving, because we had already scheduled a vacation, and thankfully we didn't have to cancel it because we weren't, hit by the tornado directly. And so we went down to Georgia, spent a few days down to Georgia. And in between that time, my stitchy bug, between the tornado hitting and stuff, my stitchy bug started coming back again. So I started stitching again. So I got a lot of stuff done. I got a lot of stitching done. I got finalized finishes. I got finishes. I've got whips. I've got new starts. I've got, what else? I'm trying to see what I got. I got a list here. I finished something else besides stitching. I'll share that with you because it's small. And purchases and new starts planned and all that other goody stuff. So we might as well just jump right into it. I'm going to do this in segments. Hopefully you can't hear the ceiling fan over my head. I'm always getting hot all the time. Doesn't matter how cold it is in this house, I get hot. And I have a drink with me to keep me cool. And I will do my best to share what I have and what I've been working on. So let's start with my finishes first. The first one I'm going to show you, I tried to find this book everywhere. I cannot find it anywhere in my room. I did not give it up because it's a Cricut collection book and I keep those. And I tried looking up online. I can't even find a picture online for it. But it was the Cricut Collection's Christmas alphabet. And I was just doing 3 little ornaments out of it. One for me and my husband and one for my son. And I only had one to finish, which I think was the R. So I did get those finished. So those are the 3 little things. And you could try to look it up. Maybe it'd be on eBay or something, but I couldn't find it. I know my lights are going in and out there. And so there's the 3 little ornaments. So I've got to get that finished. And I will tell you, I have a ton of finishes to do. I have framing to do. I have all these things to do. And now, of course, we're in a heat wave here. And it's too hot for me to even go outside, never mind pull my saw out and cut up some frames or whatever I need to do to get stuff framed. So that ain't happening. But that's the first one. That was my first finish. My second one was out of a punch needle in Primitive Stitcher magazine. It's got a hair on it. And it is Miss Liberty by Teresa Koga. And this was done on a 13, oh, not 13, hello. Well, this one here, let's see, did I write this stuff down? Finishes, Christmas alphabet. I finished this on May 9th, 111 stitches of what I had to do to finish that. Miss Liberty, let me find her here. She was finished on May 8th, and she's on 36 count American chestnut. There she goes. I already gave the pattern away to somebody, but there she is. And I have a plan to put her on this book that I got. Now, I got this idea from my friend Merritt Crawford. She has a YouTube channel. I will put the channel name up here. She finished hers this way and she brought it to our Stitchy group and I loved it. So I said, I'm going to do this too. So I got a book that is a navy blue book and that's what it's going to be put on. And what I loved is I had to find a book that had some relevance to American and patriotic. And what I found, I thought this book was great. I took the cover off because I didn't want the cover. I just wanted the blue book. But it says, Dan Rather, What Unites Us. And I thought that was the perfect book to put this on. And I wished I had got a second one. I'm going to have to go over to the library because our library sells old books and stuff. So I paid $1 for the book. And I should have got a red one too, because there is a Mr. Liberty. I can't remember if he's called Mr. Sam or something. But I want to do the other one too. So I need to get a red book. So I'll have a blue book and a red book. So that is Miss Liberty. Like I said, she is on 36 count R&R American Chestnut. My next one that I finished was The Witch's Shelf. This is Doreen Jones, and I did this on a 32 count Old Spring Garden. I have no idea who the dyer is. I just know that's the name. I do not have the pattern because it was a PDF. You know, I got it from, if you go to Doreen Jones, she has a Facebook group and she always does freebies and she does stitch alongs. And this was a stitch along last Halloween. I think it was last Halloween or the Halloween before. I didn't write a date, so I don't know which year, but it might have been in 23. But here it is. And I got that finished. And I think I'm going to put this on a project bag. So I'm going to make this one into a project bag and make it my Halloween project bag. But really cute, lots of fun colors on it. I didn't do a lot of the, it had like, I don't know if you guys can see, it has these little polka dots and stuff. Don't look at my nails, they look like hell. All my nails were nice and long. Okay, oops, sorry, I don't mean to shake you guys. All my nails were nice and long and strong. And then I started redoing my room. You see there's cabinets behind me. They look like crap because I just threw stuff in them. My room is so disorganized right now. I still have not gotten my room the way I want it. I go through things a little at a time, but there is stuff everywhere. You don't want to see this room right now. And so anyway, I didn't put all the polka dotty things down on the bottom there, but I think it's adorable. It looks great on this fabric. And that's going to be a project bag when I get some opportunity to decide to do it. We'll see. My next one is Crochet Go-Go's Nativity Collection 3. This looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Hold on. Put a book behind it here. All these are PDFs. There it is. So this one I finished on 3/16 on March 26th. It is on 36 count Winter Blues by Bestitch Me. And this is how it looks, and I love this one. She has a few others. This is Nativity 3. There's a 1 and a 2. I may have to do those. I own number 2. I do not own number 1. But there it is. Beautiful design. And not sure what I'm doing with it yet. I might just do a flat finish, or I might, it's kind of big for a pillow. I might do a pillow. I don't know. But that is finished. So that is 1, 2, how many does that count? 1, 2, 3, that's 4 finishes. And then that's those. My next finish is, let's see. I'll make sure I'm not missing anything. A Year of Celebrations. Now I just finished this one on 6/23, and this is A Year of Celebrations 2. And I started these, when I started this series, I started it with the first one, which was the Year of Celebration Season 1. And I did, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them. And then she came out with Season 2, and I absolutely love Season 2. So I started doing them in Season 2. So when I finish, I have one that's finished and one that's a whip right now. When I finish that whip, then I will pull out, and hopefully by then I will get all these finishes to go so far, and then I'll show you the ones that I have completely finished and then what I'm working on next. But this one is Season 2. And this is the one I finished, which was August. Now I did have a little issue, not with this one, but isn't that adorable with those seagulls? And this is on a 32 count. All of them are on 32 count. And this one is called Silvery Moon, but I overdyed it with gray Rit dye. But it is so adorable. I love all those seagulls. And the lobsters on the bottom, they're so cute. Crabs, sorry. They're crabs. So, so cute. But I did have a little snafu on this series because I just throw little scraps into my bag, different colors and stuff, so I can do them. And when I finish one, I can just pick another fabric. Well, I thought I had all 32s in there, but apparently I had a 36 thrown in there. So July got stitched on a 36, which I'm not happy about because it's smaller than the other ones. Hold on. So I'm going to have to restitch July, which means I need to do it soon because I want to get these finished and up. And I think June is the last one that I have fully finished, and we're coming up towards the end of the month. So I don't know if I'll get it stitched in time or not, or I'll just skip a month and go back to it. We'll see. But that one is August. So that is a finish. And I'm going to show my whip right now for this because I'm doing September because it's sitting here. So we'll just show that one. And that one is this, and this is on a 32 count water lily, and it's not finished yet. You can see my hoop mark there. Ooh, that's bad. So there it is. So that is September. My next ones are bigger ones. So let's talk about what's bigger. I finished Summer Comes Calling on 5/8. So on May 8th, I finished Summer Comes Calling. It is on 32 count Snowdrifts by Stephanie, and I had 5,331 stitches that I had to finish to get this done. There's the pattern. Once I picked this up, I could not put it down. So that was it was right before then. It was probably took me about 2 weeks, not even maybe 2 weeks to get it completely finished. The last time you saw it, I only had like a half of it done. So this is the complete finish, and I just adore this. I got it on a board to make it easier, and there it is. Isn't it beautiful? Lots and lots of back stitching on this one, but well worth it. And I think it came out beautiful. I'm trying to get some of the sunlight here. There we go. So just beautiful on this blue fabric. It looks, like it's hung in the sky there. So that one will definitely be framed. Definitely want to get that one in a frame soon. Put it up on my bird wall. And then my last finish is actually a new start and a finish. And it is, let's see, I started it on May 3rd. And then I finished it on the 22nd of this month. And it is called, and the reason I stitched this and bought this is because I saw this on Sarah's channel, which is the Northwood Stitcher. Hi, Sarah. And when I saw it, I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. It's bright, it's cheery. And since I didn't win it when she gave it away, I had to go buy it. And so it is called Bloom Wildly from Little Dove Designs. And this is on a 32 count blue fabric by Witchold. I think it's a Witchold. Hold on. Nope, it's a Sweigart fabric, but it's not an over-dyed fabric. And this is what it looks like. So absolutely beautiful. Love it. I don't know why I wasted all this fabric to do it. You see that big piece of fabric I wasted? I put it right in the middle of it. So, and I love this fabric because it's an old fabric and it is thick. It's not thin and, like fabric is now. All the fabrics, for some reason, all the linens are really thin and, you can see all through them. You can't see through this. You cannot see through this. This is a thick, you can barely see anything. It is a thick fabric and it is absolutely adorable. I love it. It is so bright and cheery. I want to get it framed and up in my room here so I can see it every day. So those are my fully finishes since the last time you saw me in February. Now I do have one finish that is not cross stitch related. Oh, okay. My hair goes everywhere. I'm trying to get this hair off my stitching. And it is, and I don't have the pattern to this because I gave it away at my Stitchy group, but it is wool applique, and it is a tulip candle mat. And it was a kit that I had bought when I first started doing wool applique, and I had it all cut out and just never put it together. So I got it together now, and this is what it looks like. So this is the prim version of it. It has like a pastel version, and then it has this prim version. So this is the one that I decided to make. It's got the back on it. Sorry about the wrinkles because it was folded up and I need to iron it out still. But there it is. So cute. You just put it on your table, put your candle in the center, and it's just a cute little mat. So that is my only other finish. And so now we should go on to my whips. So I'm going to pause the video because I had a lot to deal with here. And I'll come back and see you with, and I'm sorry I keep shaking the camera. I have this setup that I'm not used to using, and I may have to change it back to my old way. We'll see. We'll see. But if it's too shaky, I apologize. And so let me put this stuff away and then get out my whips and we'll talk about what else I've been working on. So hold on. Okay, so I'm sorry it looks crooked to you. I know it looks crooked, but I had to turn my camera at an angle in order to show things and be able to see what I'm showing. So it looks like I'm crooked, but I'm really not. It's just that the camera is angled a little off a little so it's not straight on. So what have I been working on? Sleepy Hollow. So I started Sleepy Hollow back in October with my friend Wendy. She's part of my Stitchy group here in Somerset. And we have been doing a portion every single month. We broke it up into, I think, 11 parts, and we're getting to the end now because we're supposed to be done by the end of August, I believe. August or September? August? I think it's the August. We're all the way down in the last section here. So I'm going to show you the whole thing in the 3 sections. It is in 3 different parts so that we can put it into a trifold, because as you can see in the picture, this is a trifold. 3 different pieces put together. So this is where I am at with mine. So and this is done on an 18 count Aida that I hand dyed myself. And this is section 1. So that is the, tells you what the names of them are. I can't remember. Nope. And I don't remember, but that's the house. You see the pumpkins and the tree. And then if you look at the tree is cut off right here. So that's when it gets connected to section 2. Get my hair off of it. Right, and you'll see at the very end over here, just a little bit of purple. That's where the tree lines up. So you got Ichabod Crane, you got the Headless Horseman, and he's running from the horseman. And then you'll see trees cut off. And then section 3 is the one we are working on now. And you'll see the remainder of the trees. And I am working on the church and the gravestones. So I've got some gravestones in here. I've started working towards the house here. And that's all 3 sections. So that's going to look pretty cool when it's done. I'm excited about it. The camera colors aren't as great and as vibrant as the design actually is. But I'm looking forward to getting this 100% done. I have learned that doing it in this way and breaking up my patterns really does make it easier for me to get them done. Because if I can just focus on a portion every month, then it really works when it's a large piece. So I have been doing that with other patterns of mine, just so I can get them completed. So that was the first one. That's Cricket Collection. I completed, since the last time you saw it, let's see if I wrote that down, 4,738 stitches is what I've completed since last time you saw it. So that's that one. My next one is Autumn Rules. This is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I'm trying to get the little clips on it so I don't have to hold it. And it is done on a 32 count vintage country mocha. And this is where I'm at with it right now. Let me show you the pattern. This is a PDF, so all I have is the paper pattern. There it is. And I've had this for a long time. I've had this since pretty much Primrose Cottage started, I think, with this and a couple other patterns. And I won this pattern from them. So I've had it all this time. I haven't done it. And I'm like, I need to get this done. So I was working on this again this morning. So I've got it all the way down. I'm about halfway done at this point. And this is where it is. It's all the called for colors. It is so pretty. Look at all those bright autumn colors. So it's still got another half to go. And I love it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'd like to find a board, maybe a like a cutting board or something that's a longer cutting board to put it on, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to go over to Hobby Lobby and see what they have and see if I can find a cutting board that would fit on. So that is my second whip. My third whip is Map of Hawk Run Hollow. Let me get this on the board. And I've done a lot of stitching on this. I have completed 2,091 stitches since you've seen it last. And it looks like, and I don't know why I didn't take this one out of the package. Hold on, because it's got a glare. And I've been working on this for a long time. This is one of my oldest whips. I think this is from 2018. But everybody knows what Map of Hakra and Hollow looks like. It's a beautiful piece. And you'll see where I've been stitching, you'll be able to tell. Let me get this string draped down. But this is on 36 count doubloon by, who's doubloon by? It's not Picture This Plus. I don't think so. Anyway, I over dyed it with tan Rit dye to make it a little darker. So that's where it's at. And I have been working all the way over all this in this down here. That's what I was working on. So one of these days I'm going to get this done. I need to make this a focus piece, I guess, because I feel like by 2018 I should have had this done. It's 7 years. I started, I think I started on October 1st, 2018. I'm almost sure that's when I started. And so it needs to get done. It is a fabulous piece. I absolutely love it. And so yeah, 2,091 stitches on that one. And then I was really surprised that I picked up this next one. And I'm sure glad I did. Let me get my board under it again. Sorry about that. Because I got a lot done on this one. And this one is Crochet A Go Go's Winter Sampler. Let me get a pattern on behind it. So there it is there. And I just love these. I love this one and I love the fall one. It is just gorgeous. I would love to do all 4 of them. I'm not a huge fan of the spring one. I think it's because it's got too much pink in it. I don't have it here to show, but it's got a lot of pink. So I think if I change the pinks to maybe a light blue or a violet or something else and make different colored flowers, I think I would like it more. I may do that. She just released the summer one, which is a patriotic one. And it is chock. I mean, that thing, I know these have a lot of stuff in them. When you see it in red, white, and blue, if you haven't seen that, go look it up. It is a lot of red, white, and blue. I love red, white, and blue, but it's a lot. But I got a lot done on this because I finished 3,797 stitches on this. And look at that house. I got that house in there, bushes here in the house. Almost 4,000 stitches, 3,797 stitches to get that done. So another one. I probably need to break it up by monthlies and see if I can get this done. This is done on a 30, is it 36? 36 count, yeah. Vintage Country Mocha. You can see the design in it. But just love this design, but it's taken way too long. I've been working on this for a few years now, and I jump around a lot. I get distracted, and then I see new things I want to stitch, and so things don't get work done like they should. Okay, so those were my whips that I've worked on since the last time you saw me, and I have 2 new starts besides the celebrations, the year of celebrations ones. And because I can't help myself, every time I see something that calls to me, it's time for me to start stitching it. So I started, and this was started on, oh, I didn't write a date. It's been the last month. It's been the last month. This is Plum Street Samplers. Hold on, I got to get it out of the package because I didn't think to take this one out either. There we go. Plum Street Samplers, This Is the Day. This is another one that I've had for quite a while, but for some strange reason, it really didn't hit me until I started, somebody was working on it. Somebody. And I was like, and they changed it. You know who it was? I think it was Nancy. Nancy, what's her channel? So Cozy Stitching? So I gotta look. Oh my gosh. Nancy, what is your channel? Why is it popping out of my head? Let's see. Let me get in here. Yeah, So Cozy Stitching. So she is she's at So Cozy Stitching on Instagram, and then she has So Cozy Stitching on Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube. So she did this, and I think I'm almost sure she's the one that took the sheep with the goats out. She didn't like the goats. I like the goats. They're kind of whimsy looking, so I wanted to leave them in there. I like the saying, this is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. So I am doing mine on a 36 count. Oh boy, I don't remember. 36 count. I don't know. I'll have to tell you next time. It's a Bestitch Me fabric, but I can't remember what it is. It is a beautiful blue, and this is where I'm at with it. So I got my, whoops, just lost my last whip. I got my little goat in there and started the border and some flowers. And I cannot, for the life of me, remember, hold on, I've got to grab my other whip before I step on it. I cannot remember for the life of me what that fabric is. But absolutely love the fabric on this. It just reminds me of a bright, cheery day with the flowers out, and then the little goats having a good time, and just a beautiful, beautiful piece there. So very pretty. And then my last whip is because when I'm at my Stitchy group with my girls in Somerset, they were talking about starting something on July 4th to finish by next July 4th, which will be the 250th anniversary of our country on July 4th, 2026. And we were going back and forth about things, and the one I wanted to start, everybody else felt like they couldn't finish it, and then they picked a Blackbird Designs, and I decided I really didn't want to do that Blackbird design, so I went with my gut and started what I wanted to start. And it is, and this has been in my stash for a while too, Lila Studios Let Freedom Ring. Now I have divided this up into 12 parts so that I can get it done in time. And right now I am on track because I started it like the 26th of May. So I started it on Memorial Day. I thought that would be perfect too. I started on Memorial Day. I finished section 1 before the 1st of June. And now I'm on section 2. And I am on track. I've got just a little bit more to do to finish section 2. And I am doing this on a piece of 36 count Bestitch Me scroll. So 1/2. And there's some 1/1 on this puppy too, but so there it is. So right now I'm just working on that 1/1 in the center there where it says Independence. So I have to get that finished, and then I will be done with section 2. So hopefully I can get that done before the 1st of July. And let me tell you, that over 1 is not easy. Not easy, but it's coming. And you'll see I made some changes. So the first thing you're going to see that I changed, I'm going to stand up just so I can see what I'm talking about. So the first thing I changed was I changed the bird. Where are you? There you go. I changed the bird to an eagle because I didn't like the bird. Where is it? So you'll see right there, it's got like this little brown bird. And I'm like, how could she not put an eagle in the pattern? Now you're going to ask me, where did that eagle come from? I have no idea. If I can figure it out, I'll let you know. But I thought it was from Miss Liberty, but it's not. That's a different eagle. So I'll have to look and see where I got that eagle. If I can figure out where I got it from, then I'll let you know. The second thing is I took out the word America in the flag. I wanted it just to be the flag. I didn't want it to have the word in it because that's not how our flag flies. If you're doing this pattern or you're thinking about doing this pattern, pay attention and make sure you visit Lila's studio. Ooh, touching the table again. Bad me. Make sure you visit Lila Studios' website because there are corrections to the pattern. You really have to make sure if you ended up with an older pattern that yours doesn't need to be changed. I think mine did. Mine was the older pattern, and it had the motif up here was different, and it was supposed to be like this. So that got corrected. And there's several different different spots in the pattern that need to be corrected. So print them up to make sure that if your pattern is an older pattern, that you know what the corrections are before you start. And although I haven't been doing my tips and tricks, I'm going to do a tip and trick right now because it's just easier for me to include them as they come up than to try to write down them all and do a video. So if you're one of the people that enjoy my tips and tricks videos, you're gonna have to watch my videos just to see tips and tricks now. So this particular, when you get fabric from dyers, and I'm not saying anything against this particular dyer because this happens with a lot of the dyers, almost all of them. When they're dyeing their fabric, number one, you know it shrinks. So it's not a big deal that it shrinks because if you buy 32 count or 36 count, it might be 34 count or 38 count by the time that they shrink it, but it'll be okay because your pattern will still fit. The problem falls when you have to do a pattern that is so close to the edge and you're trying to figure out, can I do it on this fabric or do I need to get a bigger piece? This is where it becomes an issue. I will typically run a thread all the way through my fabric so that I can see how straight the cut is, because just looking at this fabric, the cut looked just fine. And I needed to make sure that this was going to fit. But if you look at it, I'm going to hold it up here and I ran the thread, then I can see that this is not straight. You see that? You see how that kind of goes downhill? So if I do this, I don't know if you guys can see that. You see how much you have here. And as I'm going down, you see how it's going down lower and lower and lower and lower. Okay, if you're working with a piece of fabric where you're concerned whether your pattern's going to fit, because I didn't leave myself much leeway here. The bottom here, it runs all the way to there, and then it gets like 6 more stitches. So it's going to be down here. I think that's enough room for me to get it to, or I can add fabric, to get it to be framed. I didn't want to have to buy a half yard to do this. But as you can see, that's a lot of difference from there to here. So make sure that you're running a thread through all the way across and make sure that your fabrics are the size that you think they are before you start, because there's nothing worse than starting something and then realizing you didn't have enough fabric. Now, most times I have lots of extra fabric. It's not an issue. This particular pattern, I wanted to start immediately because I had decided late to even start doing it. I had it kitted up, but I didn't have fabric in it. And of course, when I was looking for fabric, I really loved that fabric, but I didn't have time to order from Bestitch Me and wait, 6 to 8 weeks in order to get it. So I had to make what I had work. So really happy with that I was able to check it, make sure that it was going to fit, and that I was going to have enough fabric left over. So, and I probably should have started it from the opposite end, so the extra would hang to the bottom instead of at the top. So if I had done that again, I would have did it this way where the line is it's more straight, and then I would have stitched it from the other direction and let the extra hang on the bottom. But I didn't think that far ahead. I was so excited to get it started that I went from the line and just did it, and I wish I did it the other way, but it doesn't matter because it is what it is, and it'll be fine anyway. So that is all of my stitching that I did, which was a lot. I'm trying to think. I did Left Freedom Ring. I've completed 3,446 stitches on it so far. So this year, I have completed 47,291. So I'm halfway through the year. I've done 47,000 stitches. I'm wondering if I can reach 100,000 stitches by the end of the year. I may make that a challenge of myself just to see if I can get that far with it. Hopefully I won't lose my stitchy bug again. A lot of times I'm not counting stitches on certain things. if I'm stitching from a pattern or something, I'm not counting stitches. If I'm doing over one, like in my Let Freedom ring, you can't mark over one on Markup RxP. So that's not getting counted. So we'll see. We'll see how far I can get. I'm kind of keeping track to see how far I can be, because I can tell you that at the beginning, like in January, so I can tell you. So January, I did 7,059 stitches. February, 7,059. So I was on the 7,000 mark every month. February, March, I did 5,833. So that's when I started hitting where I hit my stitchy bug, went away. April, 5,257, 5,257. And then it started coming back at the second part of that month. May, I did 9,431. And then in June, I did 12,506. And I'm not done yet. So that was pretty good. I've been able to keep up with my stitches and everything in this little book that has a little calendar in it. I normally fall flat with these kind of things, but this is small enough where I keep it by my chair, and as soon as I'm done stitching, then I put them in there, and it kind of works for me to keep track. So what else do I have? I have purchases. So lots of different things purchased. I'm going to pause this video again and get my purchases, and then I will share those with you. So hold on. Okay, so I want to share a stitchy gift with you first. I was fortunate enough to meet with a fellow Flosstuber. She's in Georgia, and the funny part is, she had contacted me a couple weeks before we went on vacation, and she said that she was going to be in Kentucky in a certain week. And, did I want to get together? And the funny part is, it was the same week that we were going down to Georgia, which I thought was hilarious, because she's from Georgia. She came up to Kentucky, and then we were going down. So we did make plans to meet, though. We were coming back before they were leaving Kentucky. So we came back, and I was able to meet a fellow Flosstuber, and she is my Facebook friend, and I love watching her channels. And it was Kathy from Crafty Cat Stitcher. So absolutely adored meeting her and her husband, Mark. Me and my husband, Randy, met them in Lexington. We decided to meet at the new cross-stitch store in Lexington called ABC Therapy, and do a little shopping, and then go and get some lunch or dinner. Did we get lunch or dinner? We got food, and spend some time together before they headed back home. So it was absolutely fabulous. And Kathy, as sweet as she always is, brought me a gift. And I happen to bring her a gift as well, but I want to share with you what she gave me, which was just so cool. So the first thing she gave me was this little strawberry that she made. And look at that. It is full of walnut shells, the crushed walnuts. And it is just too adorable. She did an awesome job putting it together, and stuffing it and stuff is just so cute. So she gave me that. And then she made this, which is adorable too. It is a little tomato in I think this is meant for a candle or votive, or I'm not sure what it's for, but it's just a little glass. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera again. Sorry. It's just a little glass piece, and inside she made this little adorable pin cushion. Super cute. I've thought about doing this many times, but she beat me to it. She also gave me a little kit, which was a bent creek called Christmas Tree of Ornaments. And that's the entire kit. And last but not least, an ornament that she made, which is simply adorable. She did an absolute beautiful job finishing it. I'm impressed. This looks great. And it is Santa. And I'm not sure where that pattern is from. I don't think she told me, but absolutely adorable. And I love, she's got this little thing on the back. Here, let me do it this way. And it is a little thing that says her name. So it says Crafty Cat Stitcher. It's a little wooden piece that she puts on the back of her ornaments. Isn't that adorable? So, we had such a wonderful time. A fabulous time. Kathy, I look forward to the time that we can meet again sometime because I had so much fun spending time with you, going over to the cross stitch store, which I had never been to before because they were new. And so it was awesome to be able to meet with her and do some shopping and pick up some things. And it was absolutely great. Her husband was wonderful as well. And we just had the best time. So while I was there, though, I did buy a pattern because I'm in a cross stitch store. I haven't been in a cross stitch store for years since we left Minnesota. When we were in Minnesota, I went to Stitchville, USA. Is that what it was in Minneapolis? I can't remember, but they closed down anyway. So I picked up Spring Green Pears by Annie B's Folk Art. So that's what I picked up, and I kitted it myself. And it calls for 36 count agave linen by Zweigart. And lo and behold, what did they have? They had the linen that I needed, agave. So there it is. Beautiful green fabric. Love that. So I got a fat quarter of that. And then I chose for the threads a Classic Colorworks Belle Soie. This is the first time I bought Belle Soie, and this is vanilla pudding. So that's going to look absolutely fabulous on there. And I'll be stitching up those pairs at some point. So that was lots of fun. I enjoyed doing that. And I was so glad that I got to spend some time with her. And I hope we get to do that again at some point. Maybe when hubby and I drive down to Georgia again, we're going to have to make a point of trying to visit with them. So I got that. And then I have some stuff that I got at, I'm trying to see if it's in here or not. I don't think so. Joann's. Oh, let's talk about Joann's. Can you believe that they are gone? I was so disappointed that they were closing. Absolutely love Joann's. I bought fabric there all the time. I bought craft supplies. If you don't know, I do a lot of different crafting. So if I was to tell you everything that I do, so you know that I cross stitch, I do wool applique, I do punch needle, I do quilting, I do scrapbooking, I make cards. I feel like I'm missing something. No, that might be enough. Okay. I'm sure there's something else I'm not thinking of, but I love crafting. I've done crafting my entire life. I started stitching when I was about 16 or 17. I'm self-taught. I would go to the craft stores. I started working when I was 16. And I was not someone who went out and partied with people or had a ton of friends or anything. So I would try to go to craft stores and I would pick up different craft items to try them out. So one day I went to a craft store called Frank's Nursery and Crafts. I don't know how old some of you are, but you might know what company I'm talking about. And that's exactly what they had. They had nursery, plants and stuff, and then they have a big craft department. And that's where I bought my kits and stuff when I first started cross stitching there. There was another one called the Rag Shop. So if you're in Florida and you're older, you know which I'm talking about. They had a lot. It was a craft store that was absolutely fabulous, had lots of different crafts in it. And so I would try different things, and I stumbled upon cross stitch because there was some on clearance. And that's how I got started in cross stitch, and I loved it. Once I started it and I figured it out, I love doing it. So just to hear that Joann's is closed down is just a heartbreak to me. I was able to go to 2 Joann's before, because this is Memorial Weekend. We were coming back for, it was, we went the weekend before Memorial Day. So on our way driving home, I made my husband stop in Knoxville, Tennessee, so that I could go to the Joann's before they closed. They were going to close. Their last day was going to be Memorial Day, and I wanted to go in. And then when we got home over in Corbin, nope, I'm sorry. Nope. When we went to Lexington and I met with Kathy and her husband, Mark, after we left them, I went to the Joann's that was closing that weekend as well. And that was in Lexington. So I went there. So of course, a crafty that I am, if I can't find cross stitch, I'll find something at the Joann's. So, but of course I did find that, I found lots of floss. I wish I had grabbed the whole tub of black. That's what I wish I had done. But I got, like 20 skeins of black, and there were other colors here. I got some of this. Is this Light Effects? I can't remember what this is called, but they're a multi-skein. So I got, several of those. So if I decide to do something that's variegated, I got those. So not a ton of floss. They were pretty wiped out in Knoxville. But in the Lexington one, that's where I found the black, and they had these two big, huge bins of black. I should just grab the whole thing, but I didn't. My husband was with me. I didn't want him to freak out, but it was 17 cents a skein. I should have done it, but I didn't. So I got those. I do rubber stamping and stuff, and so I got 2 distressed oxides. These are the ones I love. They're Ranger Distressed Oxide, so I got those. I got a Hero Wax and a crafting item. I got Distress Grit Paste, also crafting. I got a 3D embossing folder for card making and stuff. So all this stuff I got a silhouette cameo for, which is what I just got, and it's the pen holder for it, so I got that. I got a glue pad and a refill. And then, of course, I scrapbook, so I got a couple of chipboard things. So I think I did pretty good. I think I spent $14, it says what I spent, and I ended up saving, does it say? You save $46.32. So I was sad to see them go, but I had a good time shopping in the 2 stores. So that was lots of fun. And then, trying to grab all this stuff out of here. That's something else. That's something else. When I went to, so there are several cross stitch groups in Kentucky, several of them. And I belong to almost all of them. Even if I can't go to their things, I'm in their groups and stuff. And my friend Melissa, who is the 4th grade stitcher on YouTube that hasn't filmed a YouTube channel or a YouTube video in a year, is my friend, and she goes with me. She always wants to drag me along with her. I don't mind. She's like, let's go, we go. Okay. And it worked out pretty good that, if one of us wants to go somewhere, the other one, if they're not locked up in some commitment, that we'll go. So she wanted me to go to the stitching group in E-Town, Elizabethtown. And so we did. We had a good time there. And I think that's where we were. So we were in Elizabeth. Yeah, we were in Elizabeth. We also go to the one in Campbellsville, Kentucky. But this is Elizabethtown, and there's a woman there that handed out a bunch of project bags she was just giving away. So I was able to get one, and this is the one that I got, and I immediately put my little tag on it. So just cute little bag, lined. She had a whole bunch of them she was just giving away. So that was really sweet. So I appreciated that. And, oh, you know what else I got in Joann's? I forgot. I got 28 count Monaco. Yeah, 28 count Monaco over at Joann's too. I figure if I use it, maybe I'll dye it and do something else with it. So I got that. And then, trying to see, I got a bunch of stuff. The other thing that I got over at Elizabethtown was they have a giveaway table, and it was packed with stuff. And I got this, which is an Ink Circles. It is Ink Circles Reflections of Scotland. I wasn't particularly interested in the pattern. I was interested in the floss that was behind it, because one of them was a Vicki Clayton. So there's Gloriana silks in here. So there's there's watercolors, water lilies, wild flowers, Gloriana silk, and this big old spool. It says mystery, and it's a purple Vicki Clayton silk. So I was like, holy cow, I'll take that, because even if I don't do the pattern, I will use the silks. So that was pretty cool. That was a freebie over in Elizabethtown. I got an order from 123 Stitch, and I can't remember what I was ordering, but I did get 2 Jim Shore kits. So this one is Angel with Cardinal. I haven't had a Mill Hill kit in quite a while, so I got these. And Snowman with Cocoa. So I got those 2. I have some fabrics. So this one is a Fiber on a Whim called Dunes. And it is a darker fabric, but I kind of like it. It's almost like a gingerbread type fabric. I think I got that from the Campbellsville location. Katrina Boyd, who has a shop, she comes to the Campbellsville location and she'll bring fabrics and patterns with her, which is loads of fun. This is part of my Bestitch Me order. This one is called Oat. And I have a plan for this one, which I'll show in a minute. And then I got this one. I bought this one from her website, and it's called Not Another Sampler. And it's a little orangier than I thought it would be, so I'll have to find something else to use this for. I might try to use this for some kind of autumn design because it is definitely oranger than I expected it to be. And I can't remember if I showed this before or not, but this is what I'm going to do with the oat. I'm going to put Winter Moon on it. And I have all the floss for it now because I placed a second order to get the remaining floss that I needed. So I have those. Let's see, what else? I went over to Hobby Lobby, and of course, if you're lucky enough to get in there when they're doing clearances, I was able to get in some of their clearance for their stitching supplies. So I got 3 of these pairs of scissors, and they are the curved blade ones for $1.37. So I got 1, I got 2, and the third one I'm using right now. I also got needles, which was cool because they had Singer needles. There are 24 needles in each one, and I got 2 tapestry ones. So different sizes. They go from 22 up to 28 for $1.12 a package. And I'll use the 22s and the 24s when I'm doing wool applique. So I'm good with that. I also got a another set that was a chenille set, which you would actually use for wool applique. So I got all those. I got some stuff from, I don't know where I got this. I can't remember. But I got this pattern. I think I got this over at Elizabethtown too. I think this was on their freebie table. So Sweetwing Studios, Forever in Peace. I'm thinking that's where I got that. And I got this one when I placed my order at 123 Stitch. I had to get the Ladybug Picnic, which is too cute. And I have some perfect pink fabric to use for that. Let's see, I'm down to the end here. I think I got this on one of the unload groups. This is Christmas Swan, Brenda Gervais. I went to it's a vendor mall, and I picked these up for $1 a piece, which was cool. This is a Christmas tree, but I had wanted this for a long time. It sells for $9.50. I got it for 50 cents. So, but you still need to get the fabric and the, there's a quilt as you go tree skirt that goes with it. But I love that. Isn't that so pretty? I really would like to do that. I picked these up for $1 a piece. This is Endangered Species. And I think what I liked about this was that there was, I can't remember if it was the swans or something else that caught my attention. I don't know, but there was something I like. I got this one as well, but it's got hummers, and that's why I picked it up. And that one's hummingbird, so $1. And then I found this for $1, which I thought was hilarious because I just sold one of these, but I may have to sell this one now. It is Monopoly. So if anybody's looking for Monopoly, I'm definitely going to sell this because I won't do Monopoly, but I know they sell for a good price. And then I'm sure I've shown this before. It was just Cross Stitch Magazine, and this is the one that has the Nora Corbett in it. And I think that's all that I got. Boy, I've got a mess on this desk right now. I'm going to throw all this stuff back in here, and I'm going to pause for just a minute, and then we'll talk about plans. So hold on. Okay, I'm back. So there was one other thing that I wanted to share with Hobby Lobby. I knew there was something I was missing. Always check out their frame department because they always have not only excellent sales at 50% off, but sometimes they have clearance. And so I picked this up in clearance, and I thought that was pretty neat. It was $25, $24.99, and I got it for $11. And it's an 8x10 inset that it has. And I think that's going to be great. If I can find a piece that will fit in there, I think that's a beautiful piece. In fact, I wonder if no. I was going to say, I wonder if my Nativity 3 would look good in there, but I don't know. I don't know where it's at right now. Yeah, I don't know where it's at, but definitely check out when they have clearance and stuff. Walk the store and look at their clearance. My store has like 3 or 4 different spots to have clearance in. So plans. So my plan is to continue working on the things that I'm working on. I have some older whips that I really need to pull out and give some love to. I have not been doing that. But I need to plan on it because I still have Miss Christmas Eve that is still from 2017, not complete. And all she needs is the second half of her beading done. And that's the kind of thing where I just can't do beading. I can't just pick it up. I have to be in the mood to fool with beads. So hopefully I will get her done before the end of the year. It's still my plan to do that. I may pull her out, not in July, but sometime before we hit Christmas, because I still have the frame for it and everything. I just need to get her in the frame. I need to get her finished and get her in the frame. And I'm hoping the frame's going to work because it's like, it's an oval frame and they always make them cheap plastic and it just irritates me. I'm probably going to paint it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll find a different frame for it. We'll see what happens. These are my plans. So one of the things that I wanted to start, and I've kitted this up, is called Arctic Owl 3. There is a company on Etsy that makes these monochromatic patterns that I think are just so cool. And it's called Monochrome Cross Stitch. Monochrome Stitch Art, I think is what it's called. Monochrome Stitch Art. And this is the owl. This is the Arctic owl, which I absolutely love. And it is so cool. And I really want to stitch this. And it's just one color, black. So I'm going to stitch it. I've got my black here. And I am going to stitch it on a piece of 22 count. I think this is 22 count white Aida. So that's my plan, black and white. So I've got it all kitted up here. And it is my plan to start it at some point because even though it's a large piece, you can see a lot of it is white. So you're not stitching anything but the black, and that's all black. It's just how the shading works on them when it's close or as far away that you put the cross stitches to it. So it is pretty neat. They have tons of different patterns that are really cool. So check them out. They're Monochrome Stitch Art on Etsy. So I want to start that. So I've kit that up. I have other things that I want to work on as well. Sorry, I just hit that again. Okay, but I was talking to my stitchy group and we decided that we were going to start, and not my stitchy group, the stitchy group in Elizabethtown. Elizabethtown? Might be Campbellsville. I can't remember. One of the stitchy groups I belong to, that's a Kentucky group, that we're going to stitch patriotic. So I think it's for next year. We were talking about starting next year, have all patriotic. So I pulled out some patriotic stuff that I want to stitch, and I want to share it because I'm going to start kitting this stuff up. The first one is Red, White, and Bloom by Brenda Gervais. I want to get those. Those will be quick. So I want to start that. These are older patterns that I really love. This one is called Flag Sampler. It is by Homespun Elegance, and I love that this is done on 3 different fabrics and then it's stitched together. So I think that's really cool. I love that pillow. And then of course I found a companion pillow to it, and so I'm going to do that one as well. And this one is called just America, and it uses 2 different fabrics to stitch together. So that would make a cute set. I don't know what size these are. Let's see. I have to pull fabric. So the good thing is it's just navy blue fabric, red fabric, and then it looked like they used like a dirty linen type fabric. And let's see how big these are. Stitch counts. Of course, they don't tell you how big it is totally. It just gives stitch counts. It doesn't give inches. So I'll have to figure that out, and then I'll let you know how big they will be. Because there's like several sections, and you just stitch each section and then sew it together. So that's the one, this one, and then I want to do Heartstrings Sampler. My husband bought me this years ago. I still haven't done it. And it is For Spacious Skies. Another pillow. I've had this Lady Liberty for a long time, and she's always on my list to stitch. I can't think of a better time to start her now. It is Becky Boo's Lady Liberty. She is an out-of-print, hard-to-find pattern. And she is just adorable. So I have her in this one, the Lady Liberty, and then I have her in a bee one. I can't remember the name of it, but she's a bee. She's dressed in a yellow and the skep thing and all that. This one is designed by Lisa. It's Pledge of Allegiance. Another Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and I want to do the summer pillow as my patriotic pillow, but I really would like to do all 4 of these. I need to get myself a piece of fabric. I got to see what that is. So it's given us time to try to figure out what fabric and floss we need to buy. Oh, they're all done on Vintage Country Mocha. Oh, that's cool. It's not a hard to find fabric. So I'm going to have to get myself some 40 Vintage Country Mocha. And then this one here, which I've loved from the minute I saw it. I had to buy it while it was it was an exclusive to Shakespeare's Peddler when it first came out, and it is Stars and Stripes. So now you can buy them independently. One of them was designed by Teresa Vanette. The other one was designed by Plum Street Samplers. So those are my patriotic ones that I want to start beginning in January and do be a patriotic year. So if I could get these done and then continue to work on Let Freedom Ring, that would be great. Other than that, I'm sure there's other things I will start in between. I really want to finish the year celebrations. I want to continue working on that this year. I really, 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 really need to get some of my older whips completed. So I may start pulling those out, like Winter Sampler. I need to finish my Let Freedom Ring for the month. I need to finish that 1/1. So I may, as soon as I'm finished here, I might go over and try to get this done so that I can spend the next couple days working on the Winter Sampler and get some more of that done before the next month. I'm not overly concerned about Sleepy Hollow because it's not a lot left. I can kind of crank that out as in between things. So I think that's all that I have planned. I want to thank you so much for visiting with me today. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I should have said that from the beginning. And thank you for those of you who come back time and time again every time that I post. I've got 5,400 subscribers at this point. Wow, I can't even believe that. And it is so fun to do these videos with you guys. I'm sorry that I was gone so long. I will try to make my best effort to do it a little more than I have been in the last few months. And I think my next video, I might do a reintroduction of myself because there are so many new people and stuff. Show some of my oldest whips so that you guys can see where I started, because I have a few things that I can show from when I was stitching years and years ago. And hopefully the next time I video, my room will be a little bit cleaner and maybe I can show you some of it. I bought some shelving that has to go in my room here. My husband's going to help me put it up this weekend. I also bought shelving for my living room. I'll show all that to you the next time I see you. I have a design wall that's going to go behind me where my sewing machine, not behind me, in front of me, behind you, that is going to have a design wall for my quilting. I need to figure out how I'm going to get that done and get it up. And I can't think of anything else. I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July. If I don't see you before then, what a wonderful country we live in. For those of us that live in the US, it is a remarkable country full of people that love this country. And even those that are not happy with what's going on in our world right now, this is still the best country in the entire world to live in. So God bless you all. Thank you for visiting with me and have a wonderful, wonderful the rest of your day. I will see you soon. Bye.